If I asked you how you thought most people became millionaires, what pops into your mind? Maybe you'd say they had a dramatic success story from their early life, a startup that took off, a stock that exploded, a perfect decision made decades ago. And if they hadn't experienced that moment, they would have lost the chance to ever build that kind of wealth in their lifetime. But do you want to know something? The truth is far more grounded and far more encouraging. Today, I want to walk you through the strategy that actually works at this stage of life. Not theories, not risky gambles, just an answer to how regular money applied intentionally can turn into meaningful wealth. And at the end of the video, I'll show you how to get a free video review from us so you can see the steps you can take to make meaningful changes with your own financial situation. Hi, I'm Josh Palmer, Director of Financial Planning with the Noble Group. I'm a certified financial planner with over 25 years of experience in the financial services industry, and most of the individuals I work with are in this same situation as you. Close enough to retirement to feel urgency, but still early enough for the math to matter. Now, whenever I walk my clients through this concept, the first thing I do is separate income from wealth. Because in the real world, they behave very differently. Income is what you earn. Wealth is what you keep, grow, and safeguard. Many people in their 50s have earned well for decades and still feel financially uncertain, not because they failed, but because income alone does not automatically translate into security. You can earn a strong income for a lifetime and never build wealth. And on the flip side, you can earn a more modest income and reach financial independence if your behavior is aligned with compounding. People often overestimate what income alone can do for their future and underestimate what consistency and structure can still do even later in life, like in your 50s. So before we get into the pieces of the strategy, I want you to stop and really take to heart what I'm about to say. The math of becoming a millionaire still works for anyone willing to apply discipline and intention from this point forward. Okay, so in order to do the math, we need to understand compounding. Compounding is the quiet, often underestimated force that turns consistent contributions into meaningful outcomes. Earlier in life, it is often described as a snowball rolling down a long hill. In your 50s, think of it more like a flywheel that already has momentum. You are not starting from zero. You already have assets, accounts, and history. The question is whether those pieces are working together efficiently. The early stages of compounding may be behind you, but the most impactful years are often right now because contributions are larger, cash flow is stronger, and decisions are more deliberate. Compounding does not disappear with age. Instead, it becomes more concentrated. How concentrated? Well, here's what the numbers really boil down to. By investing $1,500 to $2,000 per month into a diversified portfolio, earning a reasonable 6 to 7% return over 15 years, you can still produce a $1 million outcome, especially when we combine that with your existing savings, employer plans, and disciplined increases along the way. But before you say, all right, I got the numbers, I'm going to go now, you need to know that there's more to this story than just the raw math. Because there's other variables to that equation that are the foundation for what makes that math work in the first place. The first piece of that foundation is, as we've already alluded to, compounding. Now there's 4 variables to compounding: how much you contribute, how often you contribute, how long you contribute, and the rate at which your investments grow. With those 4 variables, we can model nearly any long-term outcome. But what we really need to hone in on in your 50s is how intentional we are with using those variables. Now, the timing aspect of compounding still matters, but in a different way than before. Earlier in life, time meant decades. Now it means efficiency. Just like the math showed, 15 focused years can outperform 30 unfocused years. You are no longer just investing for growth. You are investing for both growth and durability. So now let's talk about the next piece of the foundation, rate of return. Many people in their 50s fall into one of 2 extremes. Some become so conservative that growth stalls entirely. Others chase unrealistic returns because they feel so far behind. Both approaches miss the mark. Long-term wealth, even at this stage, is built on steady, diversified returns, not dramatic bets. You do not need to swing for the fences. You do not need to time the market. You do not need to predict the next big winner. You need discipline, consistency, diversification, and risk management. The most financially successful individuals I've seen in their 50s are not trying to win fast. They are trying to win reliably without undoing decades of previous effort. Now, there's a moment I see happen with clients where they realize compounding does not reward perfection. It simply rewards participation. You do not need perfect timing. You do not need perfect years. You need consistency. When you zoom out and look at long-term market history, the trend of diversified investing is upward, even though individual years are volatile. Staying invested through those volatile years allows that long-term trend to still do the heavy lifting, even at this point in your life. This is where the next piece of the foundation comes in, the psychological side of wealth. Yes, staying invested aims to grow your money, but it also tests your behavior. And in your 50s, you're going to get tested more than you ever have in your life. Volatility feels different when retirement is on the horizon. Market declines feel louder and scarier. But if you want to chase that $1 million mark, you have to understand this. Downturns will not break the math, but emotional reactions will. Do not let your emotions overpower logic. There's something else that becomes especially critical in your 50s. The gap between what you earn and what you keep. Your savings rate, not your income, is now one of the most powerful levers you can control. Your 50s may be the first time you finally have the ability to redirect cash flow as mortgages decline, children become independent, and expenses stabilize. Many people use this opportunity to increase spending on their lifestyle. But when those dollars are intentionally redirected toward investing instead of lifestyle expansion, you're tipping the scales in your favor. I've worked with a lot of high-income individuals who feel stuck because their lifestyle absorbed every raise. But I've also worked with moderate earners who built substantial wealth because saving and investing were non-negotiable. The difference between them was not opportunity, it was allocation. So be honest with yourself. How will you handle income increases late in your career? A lot of people spend raises automatically. Wealthy individuals redirect a portion of every increase toward their future. That single habit, repeated consistently from now until you retire, will create a powerful compounding effect during your peak earning years. Now, some people delay investing altogether because they believe it's too late to matter. That misconception does real damage. You don't need to start big, you need to stay intentional. The people who succeed financially in their 50s are not the ones who regret the past. They're the ones who organize the future. Market declines will happen, corrections will happen, recessions will happen. But when you are investing with a structured plan, downturns are not failures. They're just part of the process. The math continues working beneath the surface as long as behavior remains disciplined. And that leads to probably the most important idea in this entire conversation. Becoming a millionaire is not a financial event. It's a behavioral identity. When you adopt the behaviors that lead to wealth, disciplined saving, strategic investing, tax awareness, risk management, and emotional control, the number becomes a byproduct. So if you're in your 50s and looking to hit that $1 million mark, remember this. You'll need intentional math applied consistently. You'll need higher contributions during peak earning years. You'll need smarter allocation instead of riskier decisions. And you'll need patience even now. You do not need to predict the future. You do not need perfect timing. You do not need to fix the past. You only need to commit to the process starting today. When you do, your relationship with money changes. Anxiety gives way to clarity. Reaction gives way to confidence. And progress, steady and measurable progress, begins to compound. The math of becoming a millionaire is not a mystery. It's not reserved for those who started early. It's available to anyone willing to act with discipline, intention, and perspective. Wealth is not built in moments, it's built in habits. And if you commit to those habits, the numbers will still take care of themselves. And we're here to help you get started on this process. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to receive your free video review with personalized recommendations on your financial situation. Thanks for watching.